Yes. Diane seconded.
Okay. Diane Schultz,
Yes.
Mike Noel,
Yes.
Barbara Thomas,
Present.
Anthony Campbell,
Yes.
Mary Wiles, yes, Trevor Warner.
Yes.
Here we have four. Roll call, yes.
You just,
I know.
I'll bring it in order instead of pledge allegiance, sorry guys. Wow.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Does anybody want to do invocation? Need a motion to adopt the
make a motion to adopt the agenda.
I'll second it. Diane Schultz,
Yes.
Anthony Campbell,
Yes.
Barbara Thomas,
Yes.
Mike Noel,
Yes.
Trevor Warner,
Yes.
Mary Wiles.
Yes.
Okay. The motion is 6-0.
You guys just let me know when you guys are done with the minutes, okay?
Make a motion to go into closed session?
Well, we got to approve the minutes real quick.
Oh, yes.
So it's next.
That's the minutes of May 23rd.
Yes.
Okay. Can we make a motion that we approve the minutes for June 23rd, 2020?
I'll second that.
Okay. Barbara Thomas,
I abstain, I was not present.
okay. Mike Noel,
Yes.
Trevor Warner,
Yes.
Mary Wiles. Yes. 5-1. Motion carries.
Hello? You didn't call my name.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was wondering what happened.
I didn't go back and let me restart. Diane Schultz,
Yes.
Anthony Campbell,
Yes.
Barbara Thomas,
I abstain, I was not present.
okay. Mike Noel,
Yes.
Trevor Warner,
Yes.
Mary Wiles. Yes. Motion carries 5-1.
Yes.
May I ask a question about this ordinance?
We can ask all the questions that we do at closed session. The ordinance, I will say though, just to give you guys a heads up, there's just something for overview just to look at. Well, I don't even plan on voting or even discussing it really, just I wanted to get you guys a copy of it till the next regular scheduled meeting. So I was just about that on the Facebook page, but then when you come up to that, we can talk about
Are
it.
you doing this in closed session?
No?
Okay, well, my question is primarily about the first part of this on,
But Diane, I'll remind you that I just told you that we'll talk about it when we get to the ordinances. The next
okay, I'm
next
sorry,
thing
I
on the-
misunderstood, I apologize.
Next thing on the agenda is closed session.
I'll make a motion to go into closed session.
I'll second it.
Just so you guys know, we're gonna go into closed session just because it's real quick, so you guys don't have to shut everything down. We're gonna go into one of the larger offices, if that's all right with you guys.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Diane Schultz,
Yes.
Anthony Campbell,
Yes.
Barbara Thomas,
Yes.
Mike Noel,
Yes.
Trevor Warner,
Yes.
Mary Wiles.
Yes.
Motion is 6-0.
I'll second.
That's what I told him.
Diane Schultz,
Yes.
Anthony Campbell,
Yes.
Barbara Thomas,
Yes.
Mike Noel,
Yes.
Trevor Warner,
Yes.
Mary Wiles. Yes. Motion carries 6-0.
Up next would be the judge wants to address us.
Yes, so I'm here tonight to discuss the city purchasing masks for the court. And the reason for this is our presiding judge of the
has made it mandatory for Pulaski and Phelps County to require masks for everybody in the courtroom. That's not just the court personnel and the prosecuting attorney, but everybody that comes in front of the judge. So I have to provide those masks. We did not have that in the budget because COVID-19 wasn't an issue when we did the budget. So I need the city to purchase masks in order for us to hold court every month.
How many do you need, Les?
Well, it depends, how long is this going to go on?
But you have a rough estimate, how many you need in the beginning?
About 50 people a month.
Yeah, about 50 to 75 per month.
I think it's one of those things we probably just need to buy a bulk, and then I think it's something we can seek reimbursement from, where it's from.
Yes, we can.
Okay.
That's what I thought as well.
We'll have to search around. I did a little research today and trying to see if I can find anybody local in town that could possibly get them for us less. I came up with Zilch. I'll reach out to the county tomorrow unless anybody else wants to reach out as I'm doing it. So,
I mean, I even saw a box of 50 at Walgreens on my way here tonight for $35. I mean, so we can at least pick some up for that.
if anything, I'll get on Amazon or something. With our city card, and we can figure something out there.
Yeah, that's fine. So
When is your next meeting?
our next court night is supposed to be tomorrow night, but I have to cancel it because I do not have masks.
So I'm just gonna say roughly, we'll just order maybe 1,000 masks, and that should, if anything, we'd have ample.
But if we could go to like Walgreens and Rolla and pick up 100,
Just
we
to
can
get
hold
started.
his court tomorrow night.
Well, he's probably can't notice.
Oh, so it's already, so there's no urgency until next month.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I can't wait until 2 days before court is
Right.
canceled. I have to announce it sooner than that, so.
Okay.
Did you have something, Diane?
I was just gonna recommend that you look online and see if you can find us someplace where we can buy them in bulk, like maybe 500 at a time. And then that would last us probably throughout the course of a year, maybe.
Yeah.
That's what I said. We should be able to find them, I would say, on Amazon.
But if you buy them in small quantities, they're more expensive.
And we don't have to buy the N95 mask. We
It just has to be a
choose
mask.
ones, yeah.
So do we want to set a budget for that? How much we can spend, so I'll have the authority to go ahead and purchase masks?
Can I recommend something? Why don't we find out some prices first before we set a budget?
We can do that. I mean, I think the masks are running roughly $2 a piece, so
So we just set like, what, $2,000, and if you need more?
yeah, I'd say that'd be 20, so. And if it
So
doesn't,
the
issue.
motion and the mayor has the approval to spend right away.
Yeah, my thought process on this is potentially ways to get it in, at least then we'll have it by the next court, so we're not behind it. The last thing I want to do is have to cancel court.
I think $1,000, we should be able to get masks to get us to the end of the year and assess the situation at that point.
I agree.
With that
I'll make a
said,
motion for 1,000, approve mine, with the mayor saying 1,000.
I second it.
Diane Schultz?
Let me make sure I got this right. We're going for 1,000 masks?
$1,000.
$1,000.
Expenditures
Okay,
for
I'll
masks.
say yes on that.
Okay. Anthony Campbell?
Yes.
Barbara Thomas?
Yes.
Mike Noel?
Yes.
Trevor Warner?
Yes.
Mary Wallace?
Yes.
Motion carries 6-0.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Les. Business license, Greg D. for Greg's Handyman Service. We'll need a motion to approve that. Unless anybody has any questions or concerns. Go ahead. Huh? You had some.
I'll make a motion to approve the business license.
I'll second. Can you hear us, Robert?
Barely.
Okay.
Diane Schultz?
Yes.
Anthony Campbell?
Yes.
Barbara Thomas?
Yes.
Mike Noel?
Yes.
Trevor Warner?
Yes.
Mary Wallace?
Yes.
Motion carries 6-0.
Next on the agenda would be the ordinance. I put ordinance review on there. Basically, there's two ordinances sitting in front of you. I just basically want to kind of have time to look over it. I'll post them on our Facebook page too. If we have anything we need to change, just to get out there for the public. The first one is vision reducing material, which refers to 10. We have to have an ordinance in order to pull somebody over and give them a ticket for that in our city. The second would be false police report ordinance. On this, I'll tell you exactly what we did. We basically went over, we took another cities and verbatim just basically changed it to ours. I'll have Jeff look over it too, just to make sure there's nothing that needs to be changed or updated, but if anybody has any questions on that. I really don't know unless to get too in-depth on it, but if we do have questions before the next meeting, I'd like us to get it, sealed up before then. So, next regular schedule meeting, I think it should be cut and dry, as far.
I have reviewed both of them and I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I think they're very.
I just have a question about, a lot of the new vehicles that are coming out has some really dark tint on the
But it
passenger.
states factory.
Excuse me?
It states factory.
It's up to 35%.
So that is the 35%, the
Yes.
max that they can use?
No manufacturer's going to do.
Uh-huh.
No.
Okay, all right, that's what I want to make sure, because I didn't hear. That was my question. I just want to make sure it's 35%.
39%, no, just have like one or two watches of those, so. Mary, did you have to approve? I did not have.
Means they're good.
I'll get it, I'll get it.
That's okay, ophthalmologist, and everybody else.
Do we have any questions on it other than Diane's question?
No.
I think they're pretty cut and dry, again, I'll put them on our Facebook page. I think it should be straightforward.
Well, 35% is pretty dark.
Yeah, I believe it is too, so. Next, I would like a motion to budget, or on the budget, I'd like, if we can, table it.
I'll make a motion to table the budget.
I'll second it.
So we should.
I think you're going to do it.
Oh, sorry. I thought it was loud.
Diane Schultz.
When are we going to take this till? Next meeting?
Next meeting,
Or the first meeting of the month?
the next regularly scheduled meeting is going to.
Regular
Yes, regular
schedule.
schedule.
I'll say yes to a regular schedule meeting.
Anthony Campbell.
Yes.
Barbara Thomas.
Yes.
Mike Nolan.
Yes.
Trevor Warner.
Yes.
Mary Wallace.
Yes.
Motion carried is 6-0.
Next would be the water sewer shut-offs. We put out, I think, we put out on our Facebook page, just letting everybody know that today would be the day of shut-offs. Anybody with a bill above 300 would be shut off. So normally it'd be 200, but with the COVID-19 and everything going on, we've kind of become relaxed and haven't charged extra fees or anything. So my idea on this and what I propose to us to do, next month I'd like to go to 250. The following month I'd like us to get back to our normal 200. So I put that out on our Facebook page and just kind of let it be known, but I think that's more fair, because people want to, 3 months heads up to pay their bill. $50 doesn't hurt somebody, $200, $100 can actually, Do we have any issues with that or concerns?
When you make a motion for this one.
I think we gave the mayor the authority with
We did.
COVID, one that he's kind of just got the power to relax his fingers until you guys want to set up otherwise, so I think he's just getting back to normal, with really good motion, I think it's more an announcement.
And I just want to be upfront and clear with us as a team, as I always say, so I want us to be all on the same page. And if we have any questions, I'd like us to address it now. But again, I'm trying to put as much as I can on our Facebook page too, so it gets out there.
It sounds like a feasible plan in place for me.
Questions?
I want to make sure I understand this. The water sewer shut-offs, okay?
Yes.
You have, the 20th is the last day to pay the bill without added late fees. And then the way I understood it, it was on the 5th of the next month that they would be cut off. Are you changing that, or?
We're not changing that necessarily.
Okay,
We changed it this way because they were behind. We've had,
Yeah,
a
I know.
couple water main breaks and it's put them behind, unfortunately. So that's why I put it out there, just to let them know and be clear. I don't think this is gonna be, what's gonna hurt, hundreds of people. We're gonna probably have 10, 20 people where this is gonna affect, most of them have been addressed, so. And like I said, there's still gonna be cases, and I'll be more than open to work with anybody that can, but we can't let this get out of line either. This is one of our basic, this is a big area for us, yes. So, any more questions on that subject? Okay. Cow days, you wanna talk to us a little bit, Israel, or no?
So essentially, Tim, just to say, we are officially going to have cow days as of right now, just see how everything goes, case by case basis, of course. The other thing is, I don't think in past councils that the chambers came to you and asked for permission to shut down your community, as well as for an apportionment of the marshal's budget. So that's kind of what I'm asking right now, is for your approval as a city, in some form or fashion. I know you had a question that you texted me,
Yes.
that we can talk about too, but in some form or fashion, as our approval to hold cow days as we've always had it downtown, as a city council. That's really it, just approve.
We'd ideally close right the evening as 18th.
So it'd be that Thursday evening, generally after business closures, whenever people will start building the stages, things that Thursday evening, and then through Friday morning will be set up, and then it'll be usually tore all down, except for maybe 1 or 2 trailers that we pulled out as of Sunday morning at 12 a.m.
So it would actually be the 17th that we close down, right?
Yeah, the evening of, I think, yeah, that'd be a Thursday, correct?
Yes, it is.
And it's just Elm Street and Second Street? Is that right?
So it's gonna be, help me out, Aqua Plant?
It's gonna be Locust Street
Locust, okay.
from 3rd to 2nd,
No,
Elm from 3rd to 2nd,
Where it's normally at, right?
2nd Street from Highway 28 to Pine.
okay.
And due to COVID-19, of course, we want to spread people out. So we're not going to have a parade or announce in the newspaper. This will help not conglomerate and pack everybody in at 1 o'clock in the middle of town. Everybody can kind of disperse and distribute their times to be there. The other thing is utilizing portions of the city that we've never utilized before during cow days. I know that we had some people talking about some security issues, such as like the H&L parking lot for the farmer's market, for instance. That's one that coming in on cow days weekend, which I think is great to utilize and spread the community. We've also talked about maybe even a swap meet coming in at a soccer field. Soccer never goes on cow days weekend, the kids are always freed up that weekend. But that would give more opportunity for people at home, maybe not even attend cow days, but attend swap meets, attend farmers markets to come down and see what Bill Dixon's about. Promote the community. The hardest thing for me is businesses aren't open. So as a chamber president, that's what I want to happen. Although it's a hardship for them because we shut the street down for pull-ups on. So it doesn't really help us.
Still putting car show at high school.
Yes, still be a car show at high school as well. So we are really trying to spread it out throughout the community. It will showcase a lot of things to the community, like the soccer field or the H&L being open for sale and been there for a while, open for sale, so that's one. And then, of course, the new school. So the car show will be up there. Sunset of the Parade car show will be there.
Do you have any precautions set in place specifically for the public to wear masks?
So essentially, so I work for public health. So my deal is that really those that are immunocompromised should really look at their health and probably protect themselves. For the most part, the rest of us, we can all be asymptomatic right now. So, to say it's not here is totally a fallacy, totally wrong. There's no way. It's here. We have to take precautions, and so we are probably going to look at like hand sanitizer stations. Definitely all of the porta johns will probably have hand sinks, which they don't normally have, right? Unless they're handicapped. So things like that, we're going to have to look at for extra precautions for people.
Well, my concern is because there are so many hot spots of COVID throughout the state, and it has progressed from Greene County into Laclede County, and it seems as if it's working east. And from the south, you've got
No, if you look at numbers,
Arkansas that's coming.
yeah, if you look at numbers on the map, that's not exactly how it is. So it's not moving in any directions due to airports, right? So it's moving in every direction. This is a huge intercellular web.
But you can agree with me, if there was only one COVID patient in the last 4 months in Phelps County, there had to be some commute into the Laclede County area to infect one.
From Phelps to Laclede?
From Greene to Laclede.
So then that's too far to span. Essentially, you're really looking at circles. So how I work, right? What's my work circle? What's my living circle? What's my family circle? And then what circles connect all those circles?
Exactly.
And so to say that they're directly connected, no. I can say that there's other things that are directly connected to community spread that have nothing to do with meatpacking plant in Arkansas, have nothing to do with a nursing home in Greene County. But, there's other things. So do I think that community
Caldays does draw people from all
Right.
around bordering
So
communities.
that's part about Cat as well. It's outdoor. I can make my space because there's plenty of street to allow you to have space. So we're gonna have to do considerations, like you in the grocery store, just like I am Diane right now. I'm trying to make my space, so it's gonna be the same.
And adults typically have it, but do children.
So no, but again, that's gonna be a parent's responsibility to hold your child's hand, and that's just how that is. So, I mean, are you have concern with COVID spread?
Yes, I do very much, into our community.
Do you realize that we had, at the Shrine Club, we had 2 events with 7,000 attendants? And
And
you're not seeing,
No new cases.
and you're not seeing anything that's correlated to that?
I
And that's 2 weekends in a row, we're talking camping together, dancing together, music festival.
would call that lucky.
Well, I mean, I do too, but still we have to look at that as data statistics, not saying people want to come here, it's asymptomatic, it's gonna happen.
That's my only concern, because typically people from St. Robert or wherever, I'm just saying hypothetically, Bell or Vienna would have no reason to come into the area, but with Caldays, you have to admit, it will draw people from Fort Leonard Wood, all the surrounding areas into. And as small as the town is, and the perimeter for the event, you know as well as I do that there is going to be an influx of people, maybe a foot apart.
If we start seeing issues, of course, I'm at first hand there, so if we start seeing issues on the rise as a chamber board, we've already said, if we see imminent hazard, then it's gonna be canceled, all refunds will be given. So that's not a problem. Cancellation on a dime isn't hard, it's just writing checks. So you gotta get back on them.
But it does cause me concern.
The governor's brief yesterday was he didn't want to increase any restrictions any further.
Yeah, we're not-
They wanted to increase the economy and open it back up.
Yeah, we're not gonna
Right,
write it.
I know. He also said that children should be in school, and yes, they will get COVID, and they will take it home, but not go to the hospital.
Yeah.
But I think the governor failed to understand that a lot of children reside with grandparents or elderly persons, and them taking home, they may recover for it, may not even be hospitalized, but their guardians, grandparents, whatever, could die from it. So I think his comment was a bit shallow in nature.
Stay on task, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Stay on task.
Do you think it might be wise that places like the Santa Parties and other places, food tables and stuff, that they're gonna have sanitation stations where people will go around and maybe volunteers clean up and maybe sanitize things?
Actually a wonderful idea, because, we could essentially, maybe potentially pay senior, usually like a senior class and people like that do extra stuff.
And maybe the A+ program?
Yeah, it's actually a great fundraiser. I know that the chamber will back if something ever want to be involved. That's not a problem. Speaking of trash, so here's something you guys didn't know that you had. You guys passed $1,000 mask allowance. So this is something you guys didn't know, that we made an agreement with the city of Dixon to pay for trash service for Cadiz. So there's a $1,000 check from the chamber. So we paid that bill, and I guess you guys didn't know it was coming, right?
That's not a rubber check, right?
That was last year.
No, there's money in that. That's the last year. Correct.
Last year, check.
So otherwise, my big deal is, this is really Gary's budget. It's Marshall's budget, it's Marshall's time, it's him doing scheduling and things like that. And then again, it's the city streets, so.
And we can work on the other thing, maybe tomorrow or next day, or whenever we have time.
What's that?
The one thing I messaged you, we were messaging back.
Yeah, no problem.
Do you want to know what that is?
We were talking about business license.
Yeah, how do we go about that?
How we go about that. Maybe like a reduced rate or something, because obviously they're doing business within the city, so we have meetings or all there, if we want to, we can work on that as a group, but I just think it would be another way of us getting, increasing our revenue.
And my thing that is, I don't have any kind of kickback money, because I know that the city's actually losing tax dollars by businesses being closed during COVID. That's a big deal to me as a chamber president, is we're losing money by shutting down streets.
Yeah, and that's a hard one for me too. I love the event, I love Cow Days, I've grown up in this town, I grew up as a very young man coming here and enjoying Cow Days. But from us as a city standpoint, we still have to make sure we're collecting the business license, and that's definitely something I think we've lost out on in the past. I don't know if we should definitely charge them the full amount, but maybe reduce the amount, that at least hopefully cover some of our, overtime with the
from the business aspect, but I'm putting life before business. And I know it's a hardship for the state, for the counties and many municipalities. But when you get down to brass tacks, to the bottom line, to me, in my mind, it comes down to lives to prevent the spread or have financial gain within the municipality. I don't think any life is worth any amount of money.
On the flip side, from March 25th, first outbreak of COVID till now, City of Dixon has not had one positive test.
I understand that, and
And
we're a
we're
small
like the
community.
only community in the county.
Yeah, we're a small community, and that's a good point.
How are you getting your data, where do you get your data from?
The CETA site.
We're the only community in the county.
We have
So there are
zip code.
spaces all
Not
around.
the city limits.
Right.
And by this event drawing in those other people, I think we risk the potential.
What was that?
Let's keep it up past 1% at a time, please. Sorry.
I think we run the risk to have our first potential COVID case by the influx of other
I definitely
persons
understand that.
from other municipalities and counties. And I look at it strictly from the standpoint, since I represent Ward 1, what is in the best interest of the people I represent in Ward 1. And I cannot find that it is in the best interest of my ward that we hold Cal Days. I understand from a revenue perspective that yes, it would help the county, but not at the expense of lives, not at the expense of an influx or a creation of a hotspot in this county where in this city, where the city would have to take affirmative, extravagant action as a result of an influx of COVID.
I understand where you're coming from, Barman, actually, I really respect that. I would say the flip side of it to me, and this is speaking without knowing numbers and so on, I don't know what the average number is. You could probably help us out that goes to, Walmart any given day. I can just tell by looking at the parking lots with Walmart, Lowe's, and, a lot of those people are from our community. We're still going over there, but they're coming from, how many different cities. I think that's just the biggest risk is bringing somebody into our town. That's my outlook on that. And we're all, allowed to have our own opinion on it, but that seems like that's almost more of a hot button because I don't know if you've been to Lowe's or Walmart lately, but it's neck and neck in there. I mean, that's.
It is, and I see a lot of masks worn in there.
They're doing a greater business than they made it probably ever did.
Actually, Daryl probably has this, they've already said tax revenue's up.
Yeah.
So it has not stopped purchases or buying power in this county at all. It's actually increased it.
And so with my thought process on that is it shows you that people are still gonna go out, they're still gonna, purchase items, they're still gonna, get in.
Well, sure, I mean, you have to go out and purchase things, there are things you need for your household from Walmart and from Lowe's for the things. But we're talking about an event that is not necessary to sustain a household.
Well, I mean, so, and here's something else that you probably want to look at, and so you discuss masks. So, in order to really put your foot down, what you would have to do is, one, you would deny it, but two, you would just say it's going to be a mask-wearing event. Now, that's up to you as a city. The chamber will, by no shape or form, press it unless the city presses it. So, that's your, another option.
But you know as well as I do, if we make it a mask-wearing event, there will not be any food vendors because it would require them to remove their mask in order to eat unless they take it to go. So it will affect the event because there's a lot of revenues made from food vendors.
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
But on the food vendor end, we can do the 6-foot distance. I mean, my God, we got all these streets locked off.
Well, that's true, but if you have 500 people, how are you going to create 6-foot distance in 1 square block?
I think if someone's concerned about that, we should say.
Well, we are going to,
Because this is an optional thing, just like.
in our plan, so we are going to do Facebook Live at both stages. So if anybody wants to watch any band at any given time, we'll have a schedule when bands will go on Facebook Live, so that people do not have to attend or watch concerts or anything else, so they can, from their own home. And we usually have a heat issue Saturday during the day anyway. We usually have rain during Friday and heat issue during Saturday. And we usually have some older folks there with taking heat on pretty good. So really that would give them a good option to be out in the sun and still watch their favorite local band play. So we're trying to offer options to spread it out.
You can also put it in the paper and educate people and encourage personal protection.
Yeah, and that's a good way to do it too, to throw it out there. And we as a chamber might do the same if the city wants to encourage the use of masks, that's not a problem. That's just in our advertising, mask use is encouraged. Encouraged doesn't mean forced, but it does mean that it will be accepted and everybody that wants to participate wearing a mask will do so.
Yeah.
For the most part, I don't usually sit down and eat anyway, I usually take food to go myself.
Yeah, on the food, what are you gonna do about that street? Because you have tents, you have people packed in the street, and then you have food up and down the street. You guys decided to extend it farther? Do we need to give you more streets?
So our issue with that is protruding or, intruding into Gary's space with the jail there. If we go down much further, that's something we took in mind.
You guys have to the end of the street.
Okay. Even though, for your transportation reasons,
I'll mark our spots and the trash can spots, the dumpsters, and the rest of the street.
okay. So is that something that the city would want to see, is for that option to spread it out more?
If you go all the way to Third Street, mix it up twice the size as it is.
Yeah, you can use.
Because that's
It's
what
really soft in front of
food
it.
The
part.
problem is, there's only a certain amount of electric pole hookups down that street.
Right, and they just redid them, I think. We've been updating them,
Now, the last pole is actually right in front of the PD.
Can you use the back door at the police department?
No.
But they can park in the side parking lot,
Because
they
they-
still have access. then.
That's other parking, that's funeral homes.
Yeah, we can address that, we can go down there, and we should be able to map that out, where let you get spread out somewhere.
If you go all the way to Third Street, you do need to make contact with Gaskell City to make sure that there's power.
right. If I have to add extra hookups.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Any other questions? Concerns?
we don't have concerns, that's why we took out the parade, we're trying to spread it out as much as we can. Like I said, the farther apart, we can spread people out in groups, the better. Like I said, the soccer field, H&L, really spreading people out, because you'll see less people by spreading out that way.
I think if we approach our community with encouraging to wear masks, I think they'll respond to that much better if we try to make masks mandatory. People I spoke to in our community, I think honestly we'll get some major backlash for that, and it could potentially hurt this event, so. I'm all for putting it out there and, educating them, but as far as making it mandatory, that's not something I'm good at. I don't want to make that recommendation. That's not my plan.
But I do understand the concern, and I understand it at every gas station I go into. I understand it every place I've ever, since I've visited, so I get it.
We've been doing this since March. We all know the federal standards and the state standards that are set. So basically, all we have to do is just be in compliance with that. And we can tell people that we recommend very highly that you wear a mask and to practice the 6-foot distance. We'd love to throw this for you because we know it's an event that everybody likes to come to. And if we continue to fear this thing, it's going to conquer us. We just need to get out there and just do this and practice the safety measures that we need to practice. And we have law enforcement that can say, hey, we're trying to keep it down, will you please keep your mask on? When they're eating, that might be an exception to the rule. But when they're done eating, they go out and use their mask. Why are you talking when I'm talking?
Sorry.
Let's keep this one, please, guys.
So anyway, that's my point.
I'll make a motion to give them permission to close down after close of business on the 17th through the 20th. I think 20th is typically the morning they do cleanup, is that correct?
Yes.
And give us our manpower.
Israel last year, they started stage 7.
They did first. That's right, because
Noon.
and it's babies, guys. So not all of the city will be blocked, but it will be there.
It'll be one intersection
It'll be
after.
square.
Let me start this over then. Planning Commission, September 17th at noon to begin to shut down and set up the run through the morning of the 20th, I believe, we'll give them till then, have everything cleaned up, and it should be sufficient time, it always has been in the past. And a lot of this, I agree, guys, I mean, at this point, I don't want anything mandatory, I think we definitely need to educate them, we can educate them on our side, you can educate them on your side through the chamber, and I think it'd be a great event, we just have to make sure we do it properly.
And then I was gonna ask about trash service again, does the city have a truck that can pick up dumpsters and provide dumpster service again, or not at all?
Let's get a second on this motion, real quick, and we'll switch to that.
Yeah, so
I'll second the motion.
And Diane Schultz,
Yes.
Anthony Campbell,
Yes.
Barbara Thomas,
If you would please make note of my comments.
Barbara, we told, just so you know, I totally understand where you're coming from, I respect your.
For the sake
respect your
of
opinion.
public health, as much as I love Cow Days and my home is situated very close to Cow Days, I enjoy the entertainment, the music, watching the kids. At this point, this year, I have to say no.
Mike Noel,
Yes.
Trevor Warren,
Yes.
Mary Wells.
Yes.
Motion carried, it's 5-1.
Is the trash service something you guys would want to handle this year or no?
We don't have a vehicle for it.
Okay. That'll
It would have to be fixed, and I don't know what it might take.
To be honest with you, Mike, I think one of those trash trucks still has counties stuff in it.
This last haul.
Could be, so.
Can we get them to see it, just use our dumpsters?
We can, maybe I can work on that tomorrow or the next day,
Yeah.
or unless we want to use somebody local, I know we have a couple local vendors, I don't know if they have dumpsters or not. Maybe that's something. Coming in, guys, I don't know if Tony has.
If you wanna hit Lacey Rollins up, if you guys can find some out of the city, because she's with vendors,
Okay.
like that, or the logistics, so.
I'll make sure.
Just to give you an idea, like, we used two of the big ones, 16 yards, I think.
Yeah, I remember last year, like, where they ended.
They ended up getting dumped on Friday night, and then Saturday night,
Okay. So I'll work with Lacey on that, I'll kind of coordinate, I'll get it with everybody tomorrow. Does anybody have any more questions before? You can stay around for a little bit. Yeah. Let's move on to just a little update on our sewer plant. Basically, that's a UV project that's been looming over us. I've been working pretty hard back and forth with them. I think I've got it, and we still got some paperwork to turn in, so it's definitely, not 100% yet, but I think I've got to push back so we have an extra year on our timeline to complete this project, which should help us out. Instead of having 5 months to complete it, we'll have a year and 5 months. So my thought process on that is, be able to slow it down, we won't have to, rush to spend money that potentially we want to have, so. I should know, I think it's gonna be probably a month and a half before we get it for sure on it, but they've all been very, encouraging, saying that they didn't think it would be any issue, so.
Now, this extra time, we'll be able to save the money and maybe have the amount that we need to pay for the project.
So that was my thoughts, Diane, on this process, instead of us having to take another loan out, something that I'm definitely not against, I would definitely, hey, let's pay for it and get it done and over with. I believe that time we could potentially, I don't want to tell you 100%. We still got some bills looming over us that need taken care of, so it's definitely just, hypothetical, but I believe at this point in the year, 5 months, we can definitely pay for it. Especially if we,
Sweet.
so, just want to give us an update on that. Does anybody have any questions on that? I think that's a big stepping stone, I gotta be honest, guys, because I thought we were gonna have to, potentially take a $300,000 loan out, and this is, I hate to be put underneath the, timelines that you have to have this done, so that should free us up, and be able to make, work with contracts to the vendors and, bids and so on, and make it a much better process for us. Just saying.
Are we gonna still have a workshop on this so the community can get an input or an update, or,
Yeah,
some on it as to what we're trying to do?
1,000%, I think we need to have some workshops on it, we probably need to start within the next month time period. I would like to get some different engineers in here. I've got a list of cars, probably 5 or 6 of them, that I've spoke with to get in here and kind of give us their ideas, give us maybe some potentially quotes. They're not gonna be able to give us quotes that night, but at least they can give us some of the parts.
Just to break down how it
I would like to hear some different avenues for, not just the same, and then let's all sit down, make an educated decision. I think it's a win for us as a city.
I'm game for that.
So-
Because it gives the city the opportunity to see, what we have available and what would be the most feasible, cost-effective way to go anyway.
Well, and the thing here, Diane, and for us all the members, anytime you're in a construction business and you want somebody to rush, you're paying for that.
Oh, yeah.
They're not rushing for free. So when we can slow this down and have an additional year on it, that's gonna help us tremendously. That could save us potentially $50,000 to $75,000 revenue.
Unless you're a federal contractor and you get damaged for doing it fast.
Any other questions? We'll need a motion to go into closed session, but with that, I'd like us, we only do give us a 10-minute recess and let the reporters have time to get out of here. We will not, just so you guys know, be going back into open session and anything to talk about. So it'll be closed after this, so it'll be adjourned after this, sorry guys.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you guys.
Make a motion to go into closed session.
No, to reset.
To recess, yeah.
Awesome.
Diane Schultz?
Don't we just show hands on that one?
We can.
Let's just show hands.
Okay. All righty.
Thank you guys for coming out, we appreciate you. You can stay around just a little bit, so we can talk, you initial. Thank you guys, sorry Robert, we're not loud enough, I know it's hard to hear sometimes, so. I'm so sorry of the voice.
Mike, could you go into closed session, it's an open session.
No, I understood that, but they went into recess.
Okay, might think about next time, to make a motion for closed session.
Gotcha. Sorry guys, yeah, you're right.
No, it's just a technical